A gallon of milk costs nearly triple in some states, and the dairy farmer gets almost none of that difference. Right now, walk into a grocery store in Wisconsin and you'll pay one price. Cross the border into California and that same gallon sits behind glass for nearly double. Same product, same brand sometimes, wildly different price tags. Here's the trick: the money isn't going where you think it is. To find out where it actually goes, we need to follow the cash from the cow to the register, and that trail splits into 5 very different paths depending on which state you're standing in. Exhibit 1: the farm itself. A dairy farmer in Wisconsin doesn't magically produce cheaper milk than one in California. Their costs, feed, labor, equipment, maintenance, are similar. But Wisconsin has a legacy. For over a century, the state built cooperative milk collection systems. Farmers joined forces. They negotiated as a bloc. That collective bargaining power exists today. California, different story entirely. It grew as a major dairy state much later, around mid-century, with a more fragmented producer base. Fragmentation means less negotiating leverage. Exhibit 2: regulation. This is where state lines become invisible fences that trap money. Each state has its own milk pricing rules, some tighter than others. Some states regulate what a processor can charge a retailer. Others regulate what a retailer can charge you. New York, for instance, has had milk price controls on and off for decades. When you cap what a retailer can charge, that retailer squeezes the processor squeezes the farmer. Or the retailer accepts lower margins and raises prices on everything else to compensate. The consumer pays either way. Exhibit 3: transportation. Milk is heavy, it's perishable, it moves in refrigerated trucks, and distance matters enormously. A farmer in Vermont shipping milk to New York City travels maybe 300 miles. A farmer in inland California shipping to Los Angeles travels roughly the same. But California's milk also moves to multiple markets, interstate, cross-country, internationally. That infrastructure cost gets spread across more gallons, or does it? Here's the trick: some states have milk shed regulations that protect local producers by restricting out-of-state competition. Those invisible walls keep prices high locally. Exhibit 4: processing. Raw milk doesn't reach your fridge untouched. It gets pasteurized, homogenized, packaged, and labeled. A small processing plant in a rural state might handle milk from dozens of farms. A megaprocessor in California handles milk from hundreds. Scale matters. Larger operations spread fixed costs over more units, which should lower per gallon cost. But, and this is critical, not all states have the same number of processors. Some regions have oligopolies, few processors, high leverage. They set prices to processors upstream, retailers downstream. Exhibit 5: retail consolidation. This is the hidden variable nobody talks about. Some states have highly concentrated grocery markets. 1 or 2 chains control 60% of milk sales. Others are fragmented. In concentrated markets, retailers have enormous power. They can demand lower wholesale prices from processors. When they get them, sometimes they pass savings to customers. Sometimes they don't. They pocket the margin. Fragmented markets see more price variation because individual stores negotiate separately. Less leverage means higher prices to move inventory faster. Now here's where the farmer enters the picture, barely. The farmer receives roughly 40 to 45% of what you pay at the register. The rest splits between processor, transporter, retailer, and state taxes. That 40% fluctuates based on supply and demand. When milk oversupply hits, farmers get squeezed. When drought reduces production, prices spike, but the farmer doesn't see most of that spike. The processor and retailer capture it. The farmer's cut stays relatively flat. Exhibit 6: federal versus state intervention. The federal government sets a baseline milk support price, a floor below which processors can't pay farmers. This prevents complete collapse, but that floor varies by region and it's set around 80 to 90% of recent market prices, not current ones. It's reactive, not proactive. Some states add their own supports. Others rely entirely on federal minimums. States with stronger interventions see less price volatility. States without it see wild swings. Exhibit 7: brand versus generic. Walk past the milk cooler. You'll see name brand gallons priced higher than store brand. The milk inside is often identical, same processor, same farm origins, different label. The premium goes to marketing, branding, and retailer margin on premium products. Some states have stronger premium brand penetration. Wealthier states see more premium milk sold. That shifts the average price upward. Even if commodity milk, the actual cost of production hasn't changed. Exhibit 8: climate and land cost. California's dairy belt, Kern County, Tulare County, sits on some of the most expensive agricultural land in America. Wisconsin's dairy regions are cheaper. Higher land cost means higher capital investment per farm, higher property taxes, higher operational overhead. That cost gets baked into the milk price. A Wisconsin farmer might own land at $5,000 an acre. A California farmer might pay $20,000. That difference compounds across decades and hundreds of acres. Exhibit 9, Environmental Regulation. California has stricter water usage rules, stricter manure management regulations, stricter air quality standards for dairy operations. These aren't bad things, they're policy choices, but they cost money. A farmer installing advanced waste treatment systems, paying for stricter water monitoring, hiring compliant staff, those costs get passed forward. Wisconsin's regulations are looser, lower compliance cost. Lower pressure on pricing, at least from that angle. Exhibit 10, Seasonal Demand and Storage. Summer sees lower milk prices because production peaks. Winter sees higher prices because production drops and stored milk, expensive to maintain, fills the gap. States with year-round stable demand and production see less seasonal swing. States with seasonal tourism or seasonal production see bigger gaps. That volatility gets reflected in annual average prices, which affects what you see on shelves. So when you see that price difference, $2 in one state, $5 in another, you're not seeing the result of one factor. You're seeing the sum of 10 overlapping systems. Farmer leverage, regulation, transportation, processing consolidation, retail consolidation, federal and state support, branding, land cost, environmental rules, and seasonal dynamics. Each one shifts the final number. Change one variable, the whole system recalibrates. It's not a mystery, it's a system. The farmer, the person actually producing the milk, controls almost none of these variables. Regulation is set by politicians. Land cost is set by markets beyond farming. Transportation infrastructure was built decades ago. Processing and retail consolidation happened through mergers and acquisitions. The farmer wakes up, feeds the cows, collects the milk, and accepts whatever price arrives. They're not pricing milk, the system is. And the system is rigged toward everyone, except the person holding the bucket. Understanding this matters because it rewires how you think about grocery prices. You're not paying for milk. You're paying for regulation, land, infrastructure, consolidation, and market power. The milk itself is almost incidental. That's why 2 identical gallons cost different amounts, not because one is fresher or better, because the invisible architecture around it, the one you never see, is fundamentally different. Follow the cash and the mystery evaporates. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. If you want to understand where your money actually goes in everyday systems, subscribe. There's a new financial mystery every week. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.